What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing one of the most insane submissions I've ever received from MaxiPad in the Open Great League, who ran 18 unique mono-type teams for each typing in the game, except for the flying typing, because for whatever reason pure flying type Pokemon are pretty much non-existent, so for that entry he's used normal and flying type Pokemon. But the insanity doesn't stop there, because on top of this unique challenge, MaxiPad has also made sure to bring some insanely spicy picks on every single team, costing him over 4 million Stardust and over 600 rare candies just to build some of these new spicy Pokemon used in this challenge. So if you appreciate the insane effort he went through to make this challenge happen, make sure you leave a like on the video and comment to show your support. Now I will say, you can definitely tell he ran out of resources towards the end of this challenge, as there are a few Pokemon with definitely suboptimal movesets or just the one charge move, but it doesn't take anything away from the challenge as a whole. Now these battles were obviously done right at the start of the season when we had access to the Open Great League, so don't be surprised to see some strange team comps from the opposition or some very weird plays. But yeah, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon typing do you think has the best designs? Let me know in the comment section down below, let me know why, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, the Absol into Hitmontop. This is an awful matchup for us. Honestly, what the heck are we supposed to do here? We're just going to stay in, fire off a Dark Pulse. We will just barely get there before the opponent fully counter farms us down. At least counter has been nerfed recently, so they're not going to generate energy as quickly. If they're running Triple Axle, I think this is going to be game over. However, the opponent sends a Gyro Ball, which we can shield. We're now able to make it to the Poison Fang. Poison Fang drops their defense. It grabs the final shield. The opponent recognizing we are clearly very weak to counter, so we're going to come in with our Alolan Persian. They do make it to another charge move, which is very painful for us, but we will get that feint attack farm down, shooting up the Gyro Ball. They then come in with Quagsire, and we're running Trailblaze. Trailblaze going to hit for double super effective damage. It gets the one shot, and they come in with a Bullet Seed Alolan Exeggutor. We're able to make it to the Foul Play. We are boosted in our attack. Foul Play should be enough damage to get the KO up against Exeggutor, and despite seeing a counter user in the lead, we're able to take that game. So into the next battle, we got the Ghost typing here, and we're going to see a Jolteon in the lead. So again, a very interesting, not really a pick you'd expect to see in the Go Battle League, especially a very under-leveled Jolteon as well. But either way, we're going to fire off a Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is going to be shielded by the opponent, and we are just barely able to make it to a second Psychic Fangs. We are missing a ton of bubbles here. Come on, there's no excuses for that. They're now going to come in with Galarian Moltres. This is not good for us, and this one is definitely more powered up as high as it can go. We are going to shield this, as the opponent is going to bait with the Ancient Power. Honestly, we needed to shield anyways. They get the boost. Oh my goodness, that is not good for us. We're now going to fire off a Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is going to grab the final shield, and honestly, I'm not certain if we're going to make it to another Dazzling Gleam here. The opponent fires off another Ancient Power, and we're not going to get there in time. We do make it to a Dark Pulse, but the opponent makes a brilliant catch there, catching onto a Flareon. We are going to come in with our Misdreavers, go for that farm down. The opponent reaches the charge move. If this is a payback or a Brave Bird, it's probably game over, but it's another Ancient Power. We're able to hang on, reach the return, and despite seeing a Dark-type Pokemon with our Triple Ghost team, we're able to take out the Moltres, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we're going to see fire into a Primeape. So we're going to be leading with Magmar. So this is battle of the Karate Chop users. We are going to probably no shield the first charge move, because otherwise if we shield that first one, each next Rage Fist that they throw will deal more damage. However, unfortunately, they will be able to double shield here and then just fully farm us down, which is definitely not ideal for us. However, Fire Punch number 2 goes unshielded, so that is huge. Now, I would probably suggest we come in with our Typhlosion, just because one Incinerate's worth of energy is going to be more, but the opponent is actually going to full send a close combat, and we just fully sacrifice the Arcanine. Okay, and we're running Shadow Claw as well, probably for coverage, just because, of course, we've got 3 Fire-type Pokemon here. If we are running Fire-type moves on all 3 Pokemon, then we're probably going to struggle, and again, we're going to see us coming back from a Pokemon that we shouldn't be able to beat here in for Alligator and Clodsire as well. So they've got a Ground and a Water-type Pokemon on their team. However, this Typhlosion is absolutely loaded. We go for the Blast Burn there. The opponent is going to no-shield that first charge move. We're definitely going to shield the Stone Edge, and then despite, I think we do just bait with a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch would not get the KO from this range, but it would get very close to knocking them out. However, we're going to commit to the Blast Burn anyways. We get there just before we get farmed down. I think that might have been a CMP tie, but Blast Burn easily takes out the Clodsire, and we're able to take that game. Now I do want to apologize about the cropping of these videos. For whatever reason, they weren't all sent to me in the same size, and I just can't be bothered to crop them all so that they're perfectly sized. So either way, we're going to see Poison in this next battle, and we are leading into a Charm Primarina, and we are going to fire off 2 Acid Sprays, so this one will do more damage now that we've debuffed their defense, and it actually gets the KO there. That is very surprising. I did not expect that. We're now going to come in with our Mark here, and we are going to farm up to the Dark Pulse. We're not going to throw straight away just to make sure the opponent does not make a catch or anything. The opponent fires off the Psychic there, and now we can fire off a Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse definitely going to be overkill. However, Thunder Punch would not get the KO, so we have to full send the Dark Pulse, and again, just going to full send it here. So Dark Pulse, number 2, all shields are down, it gets the KO. We're going to swap straight away into our Garbodor, and they've got a Metagross in the back, so seeing 2 Psychic-type Pokemon, but not only that, a Steel and Psychic-type Pokemon. We've only got resisted damage here, although we are running Infestation, and these Infestations are doing big damage, I'm not going to lie. We fire off a Seed Bomb, that does huge damage. We take them out with 1 more Infestation, and we're able to take that game. The opponent was clearly farming up to back-to-back charge moves there, which is why they didn't throw. But in today's battle, we're going to see Luxray into Talonflame, so this is great for our whole team here. So we're going to fire off a Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs, if the opponent was counting, they would know that was not enough energy for the Wild Charge. However, they end up shielding anyways. They're going to fire off a Fly, then they swap into a Rangaroo, and we're going to fire off a Wild Charge. We look to throw on CMP, however, the opponent is going to do the correct thing here and just commit to a full Confusion farm down. We're now going to come in with the Minun here, and the opponent is going to go and fire off a Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing, they will actually reach a second Brutal Swing. At this point, you probably just save your shield for the Shadow Electivire in the back. We go for the Quick Attack farm down there, gonna fire off 2 more Quick Attacks, fire off a Discharge. Discharge should grab the final shield from the opponent, and at this point, we're gonna swap into our Electivire. The opponent comes in with the Wigglytuff, and we're gonna farm up, and we don't actually farm up to back-to-back charge moves. This is very risky because 1 Incinerate should get the KO now. However, we do get damage registration error there, allowing us to make it to another Wild Charge, easily getting the 1-shot, and we're able to take that game. So going into next battle, we've got the Water typing, and we're going to see a Politoed in the lead up against Mandibuzz. So unfortunately, we are of course running Mud Shot, so they are going to double resist that. The opponent fires off a Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse doesn't do that much damage, honestly, and we do have access to Blizzard, so we are full sending it right off the bat. Blizzard does huge damage there. The opponent is actually not going to make it to another charge move before we fire off the Weather Ball. The opponent is now going to shield, but this is fine with us. We're definitely going to take a shield advantage. Dark Pulse actually doesn't quite take us out there, giving them 1 extra Snarl in to farm us down. We can now come in with the Blastoise and similarly tank this Dark Pulse pretty comfortably here, go for a Water Gun farm down, hopefully before they reach another charge move, and we do just get there. However, they come in with a Azumarill, and unfortunately, we've only got resisted charge moves to throw and just resisted damage overall. We're going to swap into our Kingler though. So at this point, the opponent is going to stay in with the Azumarill, of course, realizing this is still a good matchup for them. They then bait with an Ice Beam, which is not ideal, but then they swap into Stunfisk. We're firing off the Crab Hammer, grabbing a shield, and then getting the boost. That is absolutely huge here. And now this Crab Hammer, is this going to be enough damage to one-shot them? It absolutely is. We get the one-shot up against the Stunfisk. They come back in with a Azumarill. We're going to fire off another Crab Hammer. This is resisted damage, but it nearly takes them out there. And at this point, we're definitely just going to shield, go for the Bubble Farm down with the Kingler, with the boost. Actually, no, never mind. We're actually going to swap into our Blastoise, get the Water Gun snipe there, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we're going to see the Grass typing, and we are going to lead into a Pangoro. Going to fire off the Leaf Blade straight away. Leaf Blade is going to be no shielded by the opponent. It does respectable damage there. The opponent going to fire off a charge move. The opponent is going to bait with a Night Slash, and now we can fire off a Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe should grab the shield here or just get the KO. And the opponent's going to come in with a Shadow Drifloon. This is really not ideal for us, but we're going to come in with our Tangela. If we were running Tangrowth, we would have access to Rock Slide. However, unfortunately, all of our moves are resisted on both Pokemon that we've got remaining. I just can't see a win condition for us unless the opponent just randomly swaps out of this matchup. Yeah, there's just no chance for us at all. So I don't know if there are any losses in these battles here, but either way, firing off a Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant gonna be shielded by the opponent, and we will reach another Frenzy Plant. The opponent actually catches it onto a Quagsire. Why did they do that? But then we fully charged that. I think we needed to undercharge that, to be honest. But the opponent committing to a full farm down here. We are going to go for the Frenzy Plant, grab the final shield. And the opponent, why are you not throwing a charge move? Allows us to make it to another Grass Knot. And Grass Knot gets the KO there. Honestly, we should not have won that game. But the opponent decided, for whatever reason, that charge moves just don't exist anymore. And we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we're going to see a Jump Off in the lead. So, of course, we do have Ice Punch, full coverage. Going to hit for double super effective damage. You could argue that you go for the Rage Fist first, just because that way the opponent might not expect an Ice Punch and it'll be boosted, and then it will get the KO there. But either way, we grab a shield advantage in a matchup where we're not going to win, so we might as well just take that shield advantage, let it go down, come in with Armor Champ, and again, going to throw on CMP here. So the opponent definitely should not be over farming that much. Cross Chop is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, so at this point, we are also going to shield. Now we're going to swap into our Surf Fetch. The opponent has back-to-back charge boost, so we're going to shield once again using our final shield, but we can go for a counter farm down. The opponent comes in with a Starmie, but then they swap into Bibaro. All we have to do here is farm up 2 back-to-back Leaf Blades, and this game should be over. Leaf Blade number 1 gets the KO up against Bibaro. We're going to overfarm just slightly up against the Starmie. Doesn't really make a difference here. Leaf Blade number 2 gets the one-shot, and we're able to take that game. So into the next battle, we can see the Ice typing, and we will see Glaceon into a Clodsire, so this is very good for us. Glaceon, I think, is the first Pokemon that is single moved, and to be honest, if you didn't have these Pokemon with their Community Day moves, which are going to be like decent coverage, either with Last Resort or Water Pulse, neither of which are actually that good moves, but either way, if you don't have coverage, then there's really no point in double moving a Glaceon, and it's also 75k Stardust, which is very expensive considering, I mean, it's not particularly good, so I do understand not double moving this Pokemon, but either way, we are going to grab a shield advantage, come in with the Galarian Darmanitan, go for the farm down there, and the opponent's going to come back in with their Clodsire, so this is absolutely fine with us. We're definitely going to shield up the Stone Edge, going to overfarm here quite considerably in this matchup. We won't quite get a full farm down, so I do agree with this. Fire off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch grabs the final shield, so at this point, we definitely double shield. They are clearly weak to this Pokemon in the back. They go for the Stone Edge, and they come in with a Mandibuzz, and even though it's unnecessary, I wanted to see the Overheat landing, so we're full sending it. Overheat does huge damage despite being non-stab, and despite the fact that we did, of course, have some Ice-type damage to throw, and at this point, it's going to be game over. We actually stop attacking for some reason. We are just BMing right now. We go for the Powder Snow farm down up against the Clodsire, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we've got the ground typing, and that is a great lead for us, although the opponent safe swaps into Azumarill. Not ideal, but we do have great coverage in Trail Blaze here, and honestly, if we land just a single Trail Blaze, well, I mean, this is a very under-leveled Azumarill. This should allow us to just fully Mudslap farm them down. So the opponent fires off the Ice Beam, doesn't really matter. We go for the Mudslap farm down, we come out with a decent amount of energy loaded as well, so that's very nice. The opponent's going to come in with Alolan Marowak, so unfortunately, all of our charge moves are resisted, but these Mudslaps are going to be boosted. They are dealing huge damage here, and we can fire off a Body Slam, and the opponent might just double shield here. They do end up double shielding, and this game should be over right now. We come in with our own Kanto Marowak here, gonna no shield as it is fairly bulky. The opponent goes for a Bone Club bait. We then swap at the same time as the opponent. They're gonna swap into their Melmetal. We can just safely no shield this. Nothing would one-shot us. They actually bait with a Rock Slide, probably running Superpower and didn't want to debuff themselves, but either way, it does not matter. Scorching Sands gets the KO up against the Melmetal. And at this point, we can actually just no-shield this if we want to. The opponent fires off another Bone Club, not enough damage to get the KO, whereas Mudshot does take out the Marowak, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we can see Mew in the lead up against our Noctowl. Now, this is the typing where, of course, you just can't run a mono-type flying-type team because I think there's only Tornadus, which you can't even use in the Great League anyways currently. There might be future generation Pokemon that are pure flying type Pokemon, but I don't know them, so, and they're not in Pokemon Go anyways, so either way, we are going to see Shadow Star Raptor. We're actually going to bait here, and you know what? I think we might even be able to live a Rock Slide these days up against Galarian Stunfisk, since Rock Slide did, of course, get nerfed last season, but we're going to double shield anyways, and at this point, we're just going to fire off the Close Combat here. Close Combat coming through. The opponent doesn't double shield there. We're able to get the KO. They come in with a Morpeko, and that's not really great for us as we are triple weak to Morpeko. However, we're going to swap into our Noctowl, grab the final shield, Everything we could have thrown there was resisted, so that's great to grab the shield. They then go for the aura wheel, getting the one shot, but now we can come back in with Star Raptor, fire off the close combat, get a hit for super effective damage there. It gets the KO, they come back in with Mew, and we are still double resisting the Shadow Claw damage. Even with a debuff defense, we're able to make it to the fly, get the one shot. We didn't even need our Unpheasant, which is quite handy because that is an awful Pokemon, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, you can see the rock typing here, and honestly, I have very recently used both Gigalith and Boldor together along with their pre-evolution Roggenrola, and honestly, that was like some of the hardest battles I've ever had. They are not very good Pokemon. We go for the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam does at least grab a shield advantage, which is very nice. We're going to come in with Rampardos, again, another Pokemon that we've not double moved. However, like realistically, you're probably not going to make it to several moves with Rampardos anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. We're going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide gets the KO there. They're going to come in with a Charm Clefable, which is not ideal, but then they swap out into Talonflame. Bro, what are you doing? We're gonna go and fire off the Rock Slide. I guess they figured if Clefable goes down, Rampardos is absolutely gonna shred through that Talonflame, but either way, they just fully sacrifice it there, realizing that their shield and a Clefable is the win condition. However, they just choose not to shield for some reason, so we'll definitely take that. I don't think Rampardos was making it to a charge move, so they definitely should have shielded the Bulldoze there, but either way, we're able to take that game. Into next battle, we've got the normal typing here. The opponent's going to safe swap into their own normal type Pokemon, and obviously something like a Greedent would be much easier for us to use, but we're running Porygon 2 Shadow Porygon Z, which I really want. I unfortunately don't have. It hasn't been available as a Shadow for such a long time, at least not from Grunts or Rocket Leaders anyways, because I think it has been available from raids fairly recently, like within the last year, but you can't actually get a Shadow Porygon Z for the Great League if you catch it from a raid because it's too high. But either way, enough about me. We're going to focus on the battle. We're going for the Tri-Attack. Tri-Attack gets the KO, so we win. Oh my gosh, what the heck is this? A very underleveled Fearow up against a Stantler. Like, what the heck is this battle? You probably didn't expect to see this in the Go Battle League, but either way, we're going to shield this as the opponent goes for a Sky Attack. I think we just commit to a full tackle farm down. We get that farm down. We come out with so much loaded energy. We could have definitely just thrown a Wild Charge there, but either way, I'm going to swap into our Shadow Porygon Z. Now, we could be running Zap Cannon, but the opponent calls the bait anyways. I don't think it really matters. We are going to significantly outpace them here. They fire off the Ice Beam. We can make it to another Tri-Attack very comfortably, and they're going to have to start shielding at this point. But it just doesn't really matter because the Stantler does have very close to back-to-back Wild Charges already. However, we're already able to make it to back-to-back Tri-Attacks, grabbing both shields. Now we're sniping with the Stantler and, of course, a Wild Charge. Regardless of any debuffs, gets the KO, and we're able to take that game. So going into next battle, you can see the Steel typing and unfortunately leading into a Gastrodon. However, we do have access to Trailblaze. Does the opponent know about this coverage? We are going straight for the Trailblaze. Trailblaze gets the one shot there. The opponent, all they had to do was shield, and they probably could have swept our entire team. But now they're going to come in with Greninja. Not really sure how that was a throw on alignment there, but either way, doesn't really matter. We grab a shield advantage up against this Greninja, and at this point, we definitely just let the Berserker go down there. Gonna come in with a Shadow Registeel. So we're gonna no-shield this first charge move. The opponent fires off a Night Slash. Night Slash, not gonna do too much damage there. I guess we are gonna shield this time. The opponent does full send the Hydro Cannon this time around, which is nice. And we are going to throw on CMP. That is not very nice for us because, of course, Registeel very comfortably losing CMP up against Greninja. However, we will fire off the Focus Blast. Focus Blast grabs the final shield. We then swap into our Kling Clang, and we are running double nukes, which is interesting to see. Gonna shield up as the opponent baits with another Night Slash there. The opponent is not gonna make it to another charge move, so they swap out and they come in with Altaria. We can fire off the Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon does huge damage there. We should be able to outpace them to another Flash Cannon. Just gonna throw straight away. No point in over farming here. Flash Cannon number 2 gets the KO, and we can just Thunder Shock, farm down Greninja to take that game. So into the next battle, I can see the Psychic typing and unfortunately meeting a Ghost in the lead. We're actually going to swap into our Alakazam. We are on Psycho Cut instead of Counter, so we will actually make it to a Fire Punch very quickly, and it does connect as well, which does huge damage. But at this point, we're just going to Alakazam go down. Even an Avalanche does get the KO there. We can come in with either Pokemon, but Hypno should be able to go for a full Confusion Farm Down before they make it to another charge move, so that does make a lot of sense, and they're going to come in with a Clodsire. So honestly, they must be very weak to the Psychic typing in the back if they come in with a Clodsire. We're also running Ice Punch, which is very convenient as that will hit for super effective damage. We're definitely going to shield this as the opponent fires off a Sludge Bomb. So Sludge Bomb, honestly, not going to do too much damage there, but we can fire off Ice Punch number 2, and if the opponent does double shield their Clodsire, well, I guess this is just going to be another Sludge Bomb, so we can no shield this. Now we're going to swap into our Shadow Mewtwo, and they've got a Shadow Venusaur in the back, so this is definitely game over. We fire off the Side Strike. Side Strike easily gets the one shot there. Mewtwo able to make it to Side Strike number 2, and we can just fully undercharge this, no bubbles hit. Side Strike still gets the KO, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, we see the Dragon typing here, and we are going to lead with a Dragonair, which is definitely the best pure Dragon type Pokemon, I would say. Well, I guess Goodra as well is pretty good these days. We're going to fire for an Aqua Tail here, and we are going to see the opponent's going to fire for Charge Move. We're going to no-shield the first Charge Move, as the opponent goes for a Crunch there, and then they swap into a Jellicent. Now, unfortunately, all of our Charge Moves are going to be resisted, but we make a catch onto our Haxorus. We're going to shield anyways, and it's an Ice Beam, so that is huge for us. We are running a single moved Haxorus, and again, this is another Pokemon which does cost a lot of Stardust and candies to double move. I believe it is 75k. We are going to shield this as the opponent goes for a second Ice Beam and then just commit to a full Dragon Tail Farm Down. They're now going to come in with Morpeko. We can just go and fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is going to be shielded by the opponent. We're going to stay in with the Haxorus, just force the opponent to throw their energy straight away, and the opponent going to go straight for the Aura Wheel, dealing huge damage. Resisted damage, still gets the KO. We can come back in with the Dragonair, fire off the Aqua Tail straight away. Aqua Tail doesn't quite get the KO there, but we get the Dragon Red Farm Down, and now we're going to come in with our Fracture, which looks like it's running Iron Tail as a fast move, which definitely not recommended, but maybe wanted some steel coverage for the team. But either way, we go for the Charge Move, we get the KO there, and we're able to take that game. Now going into the Fairy typing, we're going to see Clefable in the lead up against the Azumarill. However, we are running a very unorthodox moveset on our Clefable with Meteor Mash and Psychic as the charge moves, neither of which are the recommended moveset this season. You do want to run Swift and Moonblast, however, Meteor Mash is great tech here. I don't really think Psychic's that useful. However, I guess if we do come up against any Poison type Pokemon, Psychic coverage is going to be quite useful for us. So we're going to fire off another Meteor Mash, unfortunately just barely outpaced, so we're going to double shield our Clefable as they go for a Play Rough there. We are now going to overfarm massively, farming up to very close to 100 energy, firing off the Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash is going to grab the final shield, and we can actually outpace them to the next charge move. However, instead, we bank the energy, we swap into our Sylveon, catch an Ice Beam, and unfortunately, we are running like the worst Fairy type charge move and single move, so we must have just run out of TMs at this point because there is no reason to run Draining Kiss. Obviously, Psyshock, the Community Day move, would be very helpful in this matchup as it would hit for super effective damage, but also Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam would be much better than Draining Kiss. However, at this point, just going to have to let the Sylveon go down there, but we do come back in with our Clefable, firing off the Psychic. Psychic does actually come in clutch here as it does big damage. It puts them into range where if we're on Charm here, we can just Charm, farm them down with the Gramble, and things you hate to see, a Charm Gramble farming down, resisted farming down, two Pokemon there, coming out with close to a charge move loaded. We can fire off a close combat, and of course, this is easily enough damage to take out the Primeape, and we're able to take that game. So going into the final battle, and this is the Bug typing, and they did mention that this was definitely the hardest team to get a win with. I mean, it doesn't really help when you're running a single moved Acid Spray Excelgor. Like, if you want to get wins, you probably do need to double move your Pokemon. But either way, the opponent's going to swap into Morpeko. This is actually fine with us. We can go and fire off an Acid Spray. Probably going to grab a shield. We do grab the shield. Now we can swap into our Pinsir, and I wouldn't be surprised if we can shield once and then just fully Fury Cut to farm them down. The opponent fires off the Aura Wheel there, and are we going to commit to the farm down? No, we're actually going to fire for Charge Move pretty early as well. I think we definitely could have overfarmed more than that even if we didn't commit to a full farm down, but now they come in with Clefable, and this isn't really ideal. But I am noticing as well, Clefable does seem to be very underleveled as well, so that's fine with us. We are going to grab a shield there, just going to let the Pinsir go down to the Moonblast. We're going to come in with the Kricketune, and again, another single move Pokemon. Honestly, I don't know what other moves this Pokemon even learned, so we're going to go for the Aerial Ace here. Aerial Ace does some okay-ish damage. We're definitely going to have to shield this, and we have seen, of course, the Marowak in the lead, but the opponent didn't throw a rock slide straight away, so we should be fine here. Gonna fire off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace gets the KO. They're going to come back in with the Marowak, and again, they just go straight for a Bone Club, so this is perfectly fine with us. We can, of course, let this go. We are going to swap back into Excelgor, and I really like this play there. Go for the combination, go for the Acid Spray. This will guarantee that the Aerial Ace will get the KO. The opponent actually doesn't commit to a farm down again, so fine with us. Bone Club gets the KO. We can fire off the Aerial Ace here, and Aerial Ace, with that debuff to their defense, will get the KO up against the Marowak, and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.